Hello everyone and welcome to another UGG hobbying video. One of my short videos where we go through some simple techniques to make your hobby better. And here we are today with we're going to make some very simple, super simple bases which are beautiful and look fantastic on the table. So that was our little character that we're going to do first. It's a half painted Morannon orc, and this is the secret sauce. It's some flock that you use on railways, very sort of fine, that I've mixed together with lots of different things like some old leaves, some little bits of ballast as well. So I'll go through and show you the sort of stuff that I use for this. And putting it into a tub and mixing it all together is the secret, not so secret, special way that I do it. So first of all, here we go. We've got some green grass, and this is just stuff that I picked up at random. It doesn't have to be anything specific. It doesn't have to be this make. And it's about using different types. So that's burnt grass. Then I've got a mix. And then I've got some of the ballast that is used, which is just little tiny grey stones. So here you'll see an earth blend to give it a little bit more variety of colour, so it's not too green. I think one of the problems we have when we make grassy bases make them too green. And then there's our ballast, which is tiny little grey stones that are scattered in there, not too many of those. And I've got some sort of old tiny bits of dried leaves as well. So we're going to move on to using the other secret, which is my earth texture. Absolutely love this stuff from Vallejo. Very cost effective, lasts forever, especially if you're using it for bases. I use it for everything, for modelling, etc. And then we're just going to spread this onto the base of the figure and then carry on from there. So there you go, we have covered the base in brown goopy stuff. Not very complicated. So now I get my ready mix here, and I'm just going to swirl this little fella around in here. So just make sure I've got the whole of the base covered, and it sticks. Who'd have thought it? It acts just like a glue, so I used to spend ages sprinkling stuff on and things like that to try and get the effect I want, but just get it by swirling it around. It takes literally a few seconds and you are done. Just tapping the excess off now, shaking it all off, and you still get a really nice coverage, as you can see. So rather than just show you one way of doing this, I'm going to show you a few ways. So I'm rebasing these particular figures. They were based individually. They're a friend of mine who painted for them, and he's kindly given me these figures, and I am going to try and get them onto 40mm bases. They're Napoleonic French. They're fantastic. But so I've hollowed out. I've got a base upside down, so I've got the hollow bit, and I've placed them in their original bases. I don't want to have to take them off those bases completely, and I'm just going to use the technique that we just used on our individual figure with a bit more skill, hopefully, and fill in the gaps between the different areas. And then rather than use the same mixture we had before, I'm going to use a mixture of flock that's in a tub and do almost exactly the same thing. So the first thing I do is cover all the areas and fill them in with this brown goop, this earth texture. So that is the sections in between the models filled in with our texture and around the outsides onto the base, so it's all filled in at the moment. It doesn't matter if there's a bit that look a bit more hollow, because our flock that comes in now that we've got in a different tub is going to do the job of filling all those spaces for us. So I've got a variety of different, I think this is mostly 4mm flock. It might be even better if you'd had a mixture of sort of 2mm, 4mm, and maybe some 6 as well, a little bit of 6. So I've got a variety of different flocks here from just one of the shops I've got near me. So just different shades. I always like to throw in like a burnt grass, like a yellow grass of some sort, because I think that gives a really good texture and it doesn't take over, but it's important to get that mixture. I think, again, one of the problems people have is that they use one colour. So all I'm doing is the same. It's a bit trickier with this because it obviously is static grass, so it kind of sticks to itself. Yeah, really sort of shake it around, try and get it in all the spaces. A bit tricky to show this on camera from where I've got the camera, but there you go. So I'm just putting it on the edge, then shaking it in, and then shaking off as much of the excess as I can, and then it sticks really beautifully to the earth texture. So here is a bonus one, if you like. I've got my Witch King on Fell Beast that I did ages ago. He's got a really boring base, just some texture, brown texture, earth type stuff, and not even dry brush, just washed. And what I'm going to do is do exactly the same thing, go across the top and use the original flock we used to try and make this base a bit more interesting. Here we go again. We're just going to do shaky, get it all covered with our flock. Again, brilliant TV that you can barely see what's going on there, but just going to shake it all off, get rid of the excess. I have left that to dry. Actually left it overnight, but a few hours should do the job. The thicker you put on the earth texture, the longer it will take. Now I'm going to use a bit of matte scenic sealant on it. This is a step you don't really need to do. It's stuck pretty well, but it just keeps everything in place. It doesn't, I think, matter if a bit rubs off. You've got the brown underneath as well. But what I'm going to do is drip a little bit of this on, just use a dropper to drop it on. You could easily use PVA, watered down PVA as well, would do the same job, and then let this dry as well. Next step is to tidy up the rims where there might be a little bit of rogue item stuck upon. So just going to reinforce the black or whatever colour you want it to be on that. Obviously covering the white is going to take me a couple of applications. I probably won't show both of those. Okay, you could just leave it at that. They're nice looking bases. I think particularly the one on the Witch King with the extra sort of swales and height looks really nice. But I'm just going to add a few tufts just to add the finishing touches to the ones where I've used the railway flock. The Napoleonics don't need these because they're covered in nice variation of different grasses as well. So I'm going to put these onto the other two, the two with just the railway flock basing. there you have it. 3 different lots of basing there. Very simple to do, looks fantastic. Enjoy, like and subscribe.